Jeff ditched us last week, but rolls back into the studio here today. And here's the thing, Jeff. Welcome back, by the way. Mm-hmm. You sent Kale in here from the Power Sports Department. He talked about snowmobiles, and the next weekend it was 93 degrees. So anytime you feel like sending him back in the wintertime or anything like that,
February,
we'd be okay with that. Yeah, January, February, just let him take over for a little bit. I know he wants to sell sleds, though, so that probably wouldn't work out so much for him. But he did a fine job. And today you're back, but we are talking recalls today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about recalls. And recalls are not a big, bad, scary thing. People see that they get recalls in the mail. I told you, honey, we shouldn't have bought it. There's a recall on it. It's garbage. And it's quite the opposite. So last year, recalls hit an all-time high. There was 868 different recalls that affected 51.2 million vehicles. Okay, so 51 million vehicles. There's not 51 million bad vehicles out there. What's happening is that there is a lot more technology in these vehicles. There's just a lot more stuff. And manufacturers are getting a lot more vigilant about these things to make sure that if a handful of them start to have some issues, they correct that on all of them so that way it does not continue. Of course, everybody knows about the Toyota accelerator floor mat recall situation. A lot of people know about the GM key situation where, with a heavy keychain, there'd be an unintended turn of the key, those kind of things. And that's really, when people's safety comes into play, that's really where they become vigilant is the word they like to use. So let's just say you are thinking to yourself, well, how do I know if I have a recall on my vehicle? First off, you'll get a letter in the mail. Every single vehicle gets a letter in the mail, but as you trade and buy pre-owned and they transfer through auctions and dealers, sometimes they don't get to the appropriate address or person. So then the next step would be to go to safercar.gov. And on the right-hand side in yellow, it says search for recalls by VIN. It's very obvious to find this. So I would recommend everybody just throw your VIN number in there. It's on your insurance card, it's on your door panel, it's underneath your windshield. There's tons of spots you can find that VIN number, but just plug it in and see what it says. Worst case scenario, it says you don't have any recalls and you feel good about it. So after you do that, if you do have a recall, it'll give you the recall number from the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration. It'll give you the manufacturer's recall number, the summary of it, the safety risk, the remedy of how it's going to be fixed, the status. Sometimes the recall is when they just come out. Let's say you see it on TV and they're like, I have one of those Dodge Ram 1500s. And you plug it in and it's like, no remedy. You can just keep checking it. It's obviously updated as the second they have a remedy. That's the first place that you'll know if there is one. But that's just simply like, we had something come out on a pickup truck about a reprogram. It just took some time to write the program, to plug into the computer to reprogram the truck. Life is good. So it's not like a real big deal, but they just need a couple days. Because the second they find out, they don't hold that information. They release it to the public, which makes you feel good that they're doing that. So the next step is, once you find out I have a recall, find the closest dealer that matches what you're driving. If you're driving a Toyota, you have to go to a Toyota. You can't go to a Jiffy Lube. You can't even go to Snell with it. You have to go to Toyota. If you have a GM vehicle, obviously bring that to Snell. And a little advice is to call ahead. Instead of just show up and say, I need that recall done, hurry up. Call ahead, make sure they have parts available for it, and then if they need to order it, then they can have it ordered so you're in and out a lot quicker. The recalls typically don't take very long to fix on a majority of them, but giving them a heads up will really expedite the entire process. So one last time, safercar.gov, type your VIN in, just find out what's going on.
Jeff Wondra today with all kinds of impersonations of customers. I love it. Yes. You're getting good at your gig there. You can even do that. Pretty soon you'll know exactly who they are when they call, too. Recognize voices like we do. Yeah, easy to check on. And, of course, as the rain moves out today and you're thinking, my car's so old, there's nothing left to recall on it. I need something new. Jeff would be happy to take you for a test drive now that he's back at work. Did you play any golf when you were down south?
36 holes. God bless you, my wife. I love you. Thank you. For
nice. Yeah. Attaboy. All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Jeff Wondra with us today. Wheels with Wondra from Snell Motors on the corner of Madison Avenue and Highway 22 in Mankato on Minnesota 93.